I found a photograph of myself sleeping, left on my pillow. My name is Nolan Hayes, and I live in Ashford, Ohio. I don't like to talk about this, but it still sits with me, so here goes. I work nights at a grocery store, and last year I moved into a cheap 2-story house on a quiet street. It had a sagging porch and a light that buzzed. I thought it was fine. I wanted a place to sleep and not hear the city. First month was normal. I put boxes down, made the bed, took the trash out sometimes. Our cat, Mabel, ran across the floorboards and they would creak loud. I remember that. Little things stuck in my head then. A mug left on the counter. The smell of old carpet. I liked the quiet. Then small things started. A towel on the floor that I had left on the hook. Back door unlocked when I was sure I had locked it. A porch light off when I knew I left it on. I blamed it on long nights at work. My friend Jake said maybe I forgot. He said that like it was nothing. I laughed, but I felt weird. One night I heard steps on the porch. Slow, heavy. I froze and listened. The steps stopped under the light. I thought it was the wind, but they came back, closer. I didn't call the cops. I grabbed a knife. I went to the window and saw a dark shape move under the porch light. I watched and my cat hissed from the hall. I backed away. I left a note on the door once. Please don't touch my stuff. Next morning, the note was gone. A small toy truck sat on the mat, mud on the wheels. I never had kids. I picked it up and kept thinking about it. Phones started ringing at night with numbers I didn't know. Once I answered and there was only static and breathing. Once a small voice said, "Where's my house?" Then hung up. I slept with the light on more. Mabel slept on my chest like she was keeping me warm. I found old photos in the garage behind tires. Pictures of the living room taken years ago. The same couch. A little kid with a red ball. One had a shadow by the back door. I felt sick when I looked. I didn't take them to the police then. I told myself I would later. I didn't. I started watching the road at night. A faded pickup would drive slow and park behind trees. I tried to get a plate number, but the truck left. I took a photo of it and showed it to the police. They told me not to confront anyone. I didn't. I wanted answers, though. Then a rainy Tuesday, I was homesick and heard scraping in the kitchen like someone moving a chair. I went to check. The back door was open. The kitchen smelled like soap and something old. On the counter was a small box I had never seen. Inside was a teddy bear with one button eye missing. My hands shook. I called the police. They came and took the bear and said they'd keep an eye on the place. They asked me to stay somewhere else. I stayed. Maybe stupid. I wanted to know who did it. Mabel hid under the bed. That night, someone tried the front door. I heard the handle jiggle. The cops drove by and their headlights lit the living room. After they passed, I saw a shadow move across the yard. I opened the door a crack and found a folded paper on the mat. On it was written, "You borrowed them." I think what got me the most was the sense that the house kept pieces of other lives. I found a child's shoe behind the dryer, a crayon drawing in the attic, a receipt for toys with a date from years ago, little things placed like breadcrumbs. Each one made the house feel crowded with old moments, like the house had been collecting memory. I called the county records man and read old articles. There had been people who lived there before, families who left quick, complaints about noises, small thefts. Folks in town wouldn't say much. The librarian told me some people don't like to talk about certain houses. That made me push harder. One night, after I had been staying up too late, I woke to a soft voice outside my window. It said my street name over and over like a whisper. Ashford Lane. Ashford Lane. I ran to the back room and locked the door. I called the detective who had been out before and begged him to check cameras. He said he would. He stopped answering my texts. My last straw was when I found a photo on my pillow. It was a picture of me sleeping, taken earlier that night from inside the room. I don't know how long it had been sitting there. I left right then and slept in my car, lights on and radio low. I stared at the dashboard and could not stop shaking. I moved when the landlord told me he was selling. I packed fast and left with the cat and a few boxes. I kept some small things: the toy truck, a cracked coffee cup, a paper with a child's scribble. I kept them because I couldn't let the house take everything. Maybe I wanted proof. Later, I learned police had a file about the house from years ago. People had come and gone. Things were missing. An argument. A stranger seen late at night. The case opened and closed like a door. New owners came. Some neighbors said they'd heard things too, but mostly everyone looked away. It's been months. I do not go near that road anymore. If I drive by, I slow down and look. The house sits empty sometimes. The porch light still blinks sometimes, even when no one is home. At night I wake sometimes and hear a small noise like paper folding or a soft footstep in my head. I keep the toy truck on my shelf. The wheels are dusty. I still get notes sometimes. Not at the door, but in the mailbox. I throw most of them away. Once one said, "Look after them," and had a child's scribble at the bottom. I kept that one. I don't know why. Maybe guilt. Maybe I wanted proof. I told myself to forget. I couldn't. I dream of that house and wake with my hand on the toy truck on the shelf. A coworker asked me why I kept the truck. I said it was evidence, she said, or memories. Maybe she was right. People told me to move on. I tried. It stays with me, a small stone. I still can't explain everything. Sometimes I think the house wanted someone to remember. Other times I think someone was cruel. Once, on a slow afternoon, I drove past and the front window had a curtain half open. For a second, I swear I saw a small shape move inside, like a shadow turning. I had to pull over and sit. My heart pounded. I didn't go in. I turned the truck off and waited until a neighbor walked by. He looked at me like I was trouble. I said nothing. I drove away. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror until I couldn't see the house. Sometimes I still feel the house watching me when I pass by at night.